A very good evening to you, good afternoon, good morning, depending on where you are joining us from. You are warmly welcome to the Power Impact Series, proudly brought to you by the African Season Speakers Network with your host, Ambassador Benjamin Owusu-Ansah, where we seek to influence the next generation of Africans and, for that matter, young people everywhere in the world. It's a platform designed purposely for you. And over the years, we've been coming to you with wonderful guests from around the world. And today's episode is not going to be of a special. We have a wonderful person in house where you want to love listening to over and over and over again. We are in a season where technology has become the wheels on which all other industries run. So, if there are any emerging ones that are coming up, we need to know. We need to understand it, and then we use it for the benefit of our industry. So, today's episode is going to be another wonderful episode that you will love to listen to, watch over and over and over again. Get into the chat area. Let me know who is online with me. Let me feel the energy in the house. Share the link. Let others also join. And let's take home some wonderful wisdom nuggets from our guests. But before we go on to introduce our guests for today's episode, you know how we do it. Share the link. Get to the chat area. Let me know who is online with me. And then let's have the conversation rolling. But I would do a first break. And right after the break, what I'm going to do is to introduce to you our guest for today. So stick around, don't go anywhere. I will be back.
Need a spark to kickstart your innovation? Looking for thought and talks to get things moving? Wondering how to navigate a future full of change and uncertainty? With the eye-opening stories of digital disruption, extreme customer centricity, organizational innovation, and global shift, our collective of speakers, MCs, and moderators will shift your perspective. Meet our speakers. For booking and interviews, contact us on 0246 054092 or send us a mail info.afsesnet@gmail.com. You can also follow us on all social media channels at AfsesNet Global, African Seasoned Speakers Network, influencing the next generation of Africans.
Influencing the next generation of Africans, and that's all we seek to do, and that's all we do. Thank you so much for joining us, and then thank you so much for sharing the link as well. Right, so right about now, I want to introduce to you our guests for today. So our guest for today is a senior IT and digital professional. Our guest has an IT and digital executive responsible for 8 countries and 9 businesses for a large multinational financial service institution. Our guest has vast experience in multiple industries such as retail and telecommunications. Our guest has and continues to lead big digital transformation initiatives. Our guests sit on various boards as a digital advisory board member. Our guest is a public speaker and a podcast host where our guest engages with IT professionals across the world discussing future of IT. Ladies and gentlemen, for the very first time onto the Power Impact Series show, all the way from South Africa, let's welcome for the very first time Rorisang, who is going to be our guest for today. Let's welcome her with a round of applause. Yes. Rorisang, how are you doing?
I'm great, Benjamin. How are you doing?
I'm doing so well. In the 4th month of the year, and we are still moving. We are still going up. So we are good. We are good. How about you?
I'm doing great. Missing home, of course, because I've been away from home for a couple of months now. So I'm doing amazing.
You're doing amazing. Yes, yes. So we have you here. I read a little bit about you. But the good thing
Yep.
is, you are here. You are the best person to tell your own story. We
Uh-huh.
can read about your story. So, who is Rorisang and what is she all about? Tell us about yourself. You are here with us. Let us know about you.
Thank you, Benjamin. So I am Rorisang Hlahatsi Boloyi, as you indicated. I currently live in Canada, originally from South Africa. Love my home. What I'm doing here, I'm still continuing with a lot of IT work. As you indicated, I was an IT executive for 8 countries when I was living in South Africa, and now have moved, immigrated to Canada. So that's me.
So that's her. She just gave it to you. Simple, straightforward. And that's who she is. Right about now. So I've been with the profile that we read, you've
Mhm.
been in the IT field for how many years now?
I've been in the IT field for a very long time. I think it's almost 19 years now, including,
Oops.
yeah. So, um, I've played in different roles in the IT world. In fact, the whole SDLC in IT, I've played all of those roles until I later supported the CIO, and then I became an executive myself and head of digital as well. So I've played quite significant roles within the IT space.
You have. You have. You have. Once upon a time, you were handling how many countries? About 8 countries?
Yeah, I was an IT executive for 8 African countries. So
Wow.
yeah.
Wow. Now tell us
Yeah.
about that. How are you coping as a lady? Because most often, I mean, most people feel that IT is a male dominated industry. So
Mhm.
having you in there, how was it like? How was it feeling like? I mean, a lady breaking through out there, how was it like?
Oftentimes, Benjamin, I forget about whether I'm a lady or not. I think it's about the experience and what you offer to the table. So I
Right.
think even other ladies out there, what I could share was could be what you put on the table. It's a great contribution. When people see what you can put on the table, they start respecting that and forget that you are actually a lady or not. But you're right, the industry is quite filled with gentlemen, and some of them, it's difficult to understand that a woman can be so passionate about this industry.
Right, definitely, because yes, we normally see a few, but thanks to people like you, we have a lot of ladies coming in or coming on board and taking,
Yep.
I mean, huge positions, and then that is good because that is what we're looking for. It's kind of influencing
Yeah.
generations or influencing people to also get in there. Right. So that's a little bit about you. Now to our topic for today: emerging technologies. You've been in it. You've been on boards. You've been
Yeah.
to other places. What are some of the emerging technologies? Now, listen. I mean, viewers, all distinguished ladies and gentlemen that are joining us. IT, as I said earlier on, is becoming, or it has become, the wheels on which all other industries are running. Despite all the other bad things that bad guys are doing in the cyberspace or using the
Yeah.
internet to do, there are a lot of good things that the internet provides us with, or the technology brings our way. So they are the bad side, but they are good side. And there are
Yeah.
emerging technologies that are going to make our way simpler and straightforward for us. And that's why he's in here to tell us
Yeah.
about some emerging technologies. What are some of the emerging technologies that we have in house?
So, Benjamin, the topic itself, it's a new topic.
Right,
Emerging technology is the topic that is loosely used today, but we've had emerging technologies for decades now. Um, Basically, what emerging technology means is that it's the latest technology. I mean, what we call latest today may not be latest in the upcoming year, right?
right,
So I just want to clarify that at some
right.
point, even mainframe technology or console technologies were seen as emerging at the point in time. What we've seen emerging right now is technologies such as artificial intelligence technologies. Artificial intelligence is quite broad, right? I think the most recent, most popular one was ChatGPT, but
Right.
there's other artificial intelligence technologies that are out there that are quite helpful. I think when I hone back home into African countries, at least the ones that I was responsible for, some of the emerging technologies in the financial service industry would be fintechs. Even
Okay.
fintechs, they're not new. However, how technology has evolved in the industry of financial service industry is quite interesting. We are now seeing financial service institution being able to embed themselves in other industries like agriculture, education, and so forth. So I think the focus for today, I really wanted to tap into how can our people introduce themselves or immerse themselves within emerging technologies, right? And secondly, there are good and bad, as you indicated earlier on. Emerging technologies are not all good. How can we prepare ourselves as Africans with the emerging technologies? Because we don't always build these technologies and they're not always hosted in our countries. And there's some work that I believe we need to do to make sure that we are first ready and secondly, we can be able to use these emerging technologies.
Right. Thank you so much. Thank you so much. Let me just give some shout out to those that are joining us. Godsway Kobe, thank you so much for joining. It says, yeah, I'm online. Thank you, Markezia. Says, I'm watching live from Accra, Man Proby. Thank you so much. Let it keep coming and let us push out with the latest technologies. And hey, you know what? We are using an emerging technology, and that's what we're using as a platform now for us to
Yeah.
communicate and reach out to thousands of eyeballs joining us online today. All right, so a quick one before we even move to our next one. This is from
Mhm.
Jose. He says, don't you think that too many people feel like they are IT experts without the required technical knowledge?
Yeah, that's true. Also, those that are in the IT world, you can never know everything.
Right.
Myself, I'm always learning every day. Yes, I do understand that other people as well feel because we have made the information so public that people also can now immerse themselves with emerging technologies and feel like they are experts. So he is on point, he's spot on. Everyone feels comfortable to talk about technology. Yeah.
Right, right.
Yeah.
And he goes on to say, or in other way, there are too many intruders on the IT sector.
I wouldn't call them intruders. I will definitely not call them intruders because ideally, and especially in our African countries, I believe that everyone needs to have some level of skill in the IT world because it is enabling every industry. So I wouldn't call them intruders, but I would say it's an extra hand that we are welcoming to come in and assist the industry.
Right, it's extra hands. We are welcome. So we welcome you all onto the IT sector. Come in as you are. And sometimes you see, sometimes people feel like you need
Mm,
to get some technical skills too. You need to get some expertise before you moving into the sector or before you can call yourself an IT expert. I mean, how do you answer
mm.
that? How do you talk about that? Because just as you said, you're still learning. So
Yeah.
how can someone also gather that kind of courage and say, okay, this is the little I know, but I want to get in there. How accommodating is the sector for people with
Yeah.
that kind of mindset?
So when back in the time when I was studying, which I would not recommend to anyone right now, we
Right.
used to do degrees, masters, and so forth before we could get hands on into the industry. I think right now, as Africans, we need to look at how quickly we can learn these technologies because I believe they can make significant changes into our economy. So I would recommend that people find a focus and find it, even if it's one technology to learn and be good at it and take it forward. So I'll make an example. So if you are, for an example, in the financial service industry, there is Salesforce. And in order for you to learn Salesforce, you don't need to go to a university. They offer that technology, or you can become a trailblazer into their websites, and also learn other related technologies to Salesforce, like Encino, for an example. So I wouldn't ask people to take the route that we took back in the days. I think there's a faster route now, and the quicker we learn these technologies, I believe it would resolve some of our economic issues very quickly. Yeah,
Right. It's going to resolve some of our economic issues quickly. Now,
yeah.
a lot of people also uh, don't really regard young people are making use of platforms on the internet ends meet, people that are good with technology. Do we classify or group these people as tech people, or we just see them as business people?
Just to clarify, people that quickly learn and then come into the industry. I would classify those people also as technology people, right?
Right.
Um, Both technology and business, depending on where they are positioned. For an
Right.
example, if a CEO is learning how artificial intelligence can help him
Right.
to better strategize in an organization, all they're using is the front end. They're asking artificial intelligence questions. They are
Right.
not IT people. They are
Right.
just engaging with IT technologies to better position themselves as executives or as CEOs in organizations. However, if someone in a technology industry now takes it further and see how they can integrate those artificial intelligence capabilities into other technologies within an organization, then that person would be seen as a technology person. So it depends on how you positioned, and then we can say you're a technology person or a business person. But really, today, technology is really embedded into businesses that I don't see any business that could fast track return on equity on anything without integrating with technology. It's an assumption. I stand to be corrected.
Right. It's an assumption, yes.
Yeah,
Thank you. So let your comments start coming in. And if you have any questions, let us come in because we are dealing with emerging technology. What are some of the emerging technologies you are looking at? They are already with us. We are actually using them.
yeah.
We are using them. In other aspect of in other aspects of life, in other industries, we are using them.
Mm.
You remember once I asked some people that how many of you used AI in the past 1 week, and then they were looking at me. And I said, yes, I understand you because I use some jargons, I use some terms which you're not comfortable with, but you
Mhm.
use this daily. You are on
Yeah,
your phone, checking your emails, checking your social media handles, and that is it. You're using them. So
yeah,
sometimes I think people look at us this way that the IT guys are always using jargons, the IT guys are using. Why can't IT guys into the layman's language for everyone to understand? I'm linking
yeah,
this question that a viewer has asked. Why don't IT people try to break it down for everybody to understand that? But always up there. I mean,
um, for me, I can go to any level. I can use the most technical language or general language, and I do understand why would IT people use jargon. It's because in some instances you really need to deliver at a task that requires you to be specific on what needs to be put forward, and then there's some instances where you need to lighten up the language so that every other person can hear what you're saying. Like if you're speaking to your marketing team, or if you're speaking to your CEO, your C-suite, they may not understand the language of IT. So you need to look at business objectives and speak from a business perspective rather than going deeper to APIs, integration, and all those things. So it varies again. There's no one size fits all. It depends on the conversation and the people you're engaging with. But yes, I do agree that some IT people, regardless of who they speak to, they would not dial down or dial up into the IT language. Yeah.
All right, so I asked that leading to a question that Jose has asked again. I mean, so he's saying that is it difficult? It is difficult to
Mhm.
get out of the IT department in the corporate setting. He's
Mhm.
asking that because he says he knows of chief financial officers that
Mhm.
became even CEOs, then in chief information officers just out of the IT department. They don't move from there. They are not seeing climbing to the other side. Is it very difficult? Is it that
No.
IT team always understand only the technical things and they are not able to move up there? I mean, you are here, so you are a typical example of that. So I'm very happy that you are meeting this question.
Yeah. I don't think it's difficult to move out of IT because remember, IT supports business. So
Right.
whatever we do, we're not just bringing in technology for the sake of technology, but it's always enabling technology to support business needs.
Right.
And it's not difficult. I guess a lot of IT people don't move out of IT because it is fun. It's forever changing. Like I said, where I'm sitting right now, I can never say I know everything about IT because tomorrow there could be something else that's publicized that I've never heard of. So it's not difficult to move out of IT. It's just that the IT world is really interesting and there's quite a lot to learn. So you feel like even if you're not moving out, you feel like you're always changing and always adapting to new things. Yeah.
Yeah, we are always adapting to new things, and then
Mm.
it's so beautiful because for the IT technicians or for the IT executive, this is what they do.
Yeah.
It's not they don't want to move out or it's difficult. They kind of understand every industry so that they can provide the best solutions for you. So
Yeah.
they are actually moving out of their comfort zone. They need to get to your zone and understand what you are doing so that they can provide solutions for your challenges that you are facing there. So the
Yeah.
fact that they are here doesn't mean they don't move. I mean, I'm not sure more of the IT guys want to become CEOs of organizations. They would rather want to understand your challenges and then give it to you. Yeah, thank you so much. If you are now joining us, you're on the Power Impact Series show where we are here with this wonderful IT executive. And you know what IT executive does? They are breaking the bridge between business people and the technical people. We are trying to prove that we are able to understand everything. That's she sitting there. She climbed that ladder. She's been through it all. She understands it all. So she is here to let us know about the emerging technologies and how to move in there. So let me hear what you have to say, our guest today. Bring in your comments. Let the comments keep flowing and let us move on to that. So she's already said it. Emerging technologies are with us. It's not that we are now bringing them up. They are with us. They are with us, and that is what we are using. So anything you see us doing here, that's our emerging technologies. Okay, okay. I'm currently in dentistry. Digital dentistry is becoming crucial for dentists. It's possible now to anticipate that someone will have carries in an x-ray or simulate in advance how the patient will look after a year wearing braces. Wow.
Mhm.
However, some senior dentists continue doubting about these new techniques or new technologies.
Yeah.
Even at the university level, sometimes this practice do not or they don't know where to place them as IT or dentist. Do we have that challenges that
Yeah.
there's a new technology in a different field and
Mm.
we don't know where to place them in field A or field B? How do we place them or how do we call them? Huh? how, how do we label them?
I mean, that's very common, Benjamin. With emerging technology, especially working with innovative and emerging technologies. So the scenario that she has placed forward is not unique to dentistry. However, I've also seen it in telecommunication. I've seen it in financial service sector. I'll make you an example. So a lot of industries have been using a lot of papers back in the days,
Right.
and now emerging technologies of the time were introduced for people to move away from papers and now use technology. That transition is very important. We now have people that are called adoption leaders, where
Okay.
they assist in driving adoption, in being creative, in introducing
Mm.
people to new technologies. But that is a common issue across. Every time a new technology is introduced, there's always resistance. And the early adopters, I'm not going to take early adopters out of it, because other people are excited, they want to use the technology, but some people are really not comfortable, and those need to be taken through the right change management processes.
Right. It needs to be taken through the right change management processes so that we
Yeah.
all come to the same page and understand this. Years ago, way back here in Ghana, some
Mhm.
years ago, I mean, how we're not going to bank again by getting to the physical structure. But now you see comfort of your home with your smartphone and you're interacting
Mhm.
with bank or you're interacting with your
Yeah.
bankers. Major technologies. Yeah. One person shared something with us about uh, a technology that is being developed that is about coming up, which is checking the glucose level in our blood. And then they're
Yeah.
coming up with some wonderful technologies which is going to blow the minds of people. That is what the question is asked now. Are you going to place this one in the medical field or in the IT field? We are working hand in hand. Yeah, we become the wheels, as I said, on which all the industries are running. So yes,
Yeah.
it's
We
everywhere. It's
yeah.
everywhere. It's everywhere. Thank you so much, Lady Shelitha from the USA, joining us. We are so happy to have you here. Thank you so much. We're here talking about emerging technologies, and then we're going to be back shortly after this commercial break, and then
Need a spark to kickstart your innovation? Looking for thought and talks to get things moving? Wondering how to navigate a future full of change and uncertainty? With the eye-opening stories of digital disruption, extreme customer centricity, organizational innovation, and global shift, our collective of speakers, MCs, and moderators will shift your perspective. Meet our speakers. For booking and interviews, contact us on 0246 054092 or send us a mail info.accessnet@gmail.com. You can also follow us on all social media channels at AccessNet Global, African Seasoned Speakers Network, influencing the next generation of Africans.
influencing the next generation of Africans. That's what we seek to do, and that is what we are doing here on the Power Impact Series show, talking to you about emerging technologies where
Yeah.
we are actually using them. And there are more to come. There are more to come. So let's get ready. Let's get ready to doing that. So there's a
Mhm.
question in here that okay. So how do I get into the IT field so that I can get to the emerging technologies that are coming? How do I get into the field? And I'm laughing already because I know what you're going to say.
So, first of all, to get into IT now, it's much easier, as I indicated before. Now you can do like a single course and just start working in the IT world. Like pick something that is of interest to you and start working without having multiple degrees like we did in the past. And then when it comes to emerging technologies, you have to keep yourself up to par with what is out there. As I said, that I myself, I don't even know what technology is being announced out there that's new, that's emerging. So when it comes to emerging technology, you have to read, you have to find out what's new, and you can be the inventor yourself, which is something that I see in our African countries, that we don't really take a step up in coming up with emerging technologies. I myself haven't come up with an emerging technology, but I think it's something that we need to consider, because a lot of those big emerging technologies or big tech organizations that we look up to, none of them are in Africa. And I think there's an opportunity there. I think there was quite a lot of work that was done in the finance world, like where we have M-Pesa in other countries, mobile money, which have not even been used in some other Western countries. But I think that was one of the key things that we have done. And I'm proud African that there's something like that has been invented. But I think we also need to look at how do we come up with emerging technologies that we can use across the continent. And secondly, I think it's also important that we look into some of the technologies we have adopted that are emerging, that our data is not misused. Because in some instances, because we don't own this data, data can be a way to attack people as well. So not building in Africa and relying externally a lot with emerging technologies can also be a key for concern.
Yes, emerging technology can be a key for consent because we all moving in there. It's a booming place. We all rushing in there, and then we might
Mhm.
just forget to close our back doors, and then we
Yeah.
have people hopping in there, and that leads to cybersecurity. Then, because
Yep.
once we go in there, it's the latest technology, and everyone wants to use it, and but we don't look at that aspect. How do we go about
Mm.
that? How do we inculcate that into the lifestyles of people? I mean, once it's a new technology or it's a new thing, we all hop onto it without
Yeah.
looking at the
Yeah.
shortfalls of it. How do we do that? How do you go about this to let everybody stay safe whilst they're getting onto these
Yeah.
technologies that are coming up?
So, with my experience, I told you that I've now moved from South Africa and now live in Canada, and I've
Right.
seen quite a lot of things that Canadians do to future-proof themselves. Unlike
Okay.
us, you will realize that a lot of emerging technologies are built in the cloud, right? And
Right.
those technologies that are built in the cloud, their data warehousing no longer sits on our organizations or at home or wherever. It sits in other countries,
Right.
um, other countries that own those emerging technologies. And what
Mm-hmm.
I've seen here, the Canadian country will always want to make sure that there is data warehousing, or what we call now in the cloud world, data centers, where data centers reside in the country or reside in the organization, rather than putting it in the cloud and then it goes to another country, then you're exposed. So I think as countries now, we can just ensure that as we adopt these emerging technologies, while we wait for us to build those emerging technologies, we actually make sure that our data is housed in Africa and not in other countries.
We want to house our data in Africa. We want to have full control of our data. We don't want our data to be housed. But there are some people, even though the data is being housed by them in Africa, they willingly give out this personal data out. What about those people? I mean, yeah. Yes, we are doing that, but then there's a lot or glut of information, that personal information that people put out there. How do we stop that, or how do we conscientize them about it? Because there are a lot. Some you go to someone's page and then you are like, wow, I have the whole being in here. Everything about this person is in here. Now, this is not being housed somewhere else. It is being housed in our own land, but
Yeah.
individuals are pushing them up there for people to take them. You
Yeah.
understand it too?
So the scenario you're making, I'll look at it from an individual perspective, from an
Right,
organization perspective, and
right,
from the country and continent
right,
perspective. So from an individual perspective, you are accountable of your data.
right.
However, when you put your data on social media, we know social media is public, and if your account is public, by putting your private data, because there's private and public data, things that are I would assume is not of importance. Like if you take a picture of a rock and load it, and you load it after a year, it's of no significance today. But again, if you're going to load private data in public platforms, you're exposing yourself as an individual. It can come up at a time of when you are vulnerable. And I wouldn't recommend that at all. And then there's now the second layer with organizations, right? Where organizations also rely on, I think it's the scenario that I was making now, that organizations need to make sure their data resides either in the continent or in their countries, because if you're going to put data in another country, we never know. There may be geopolitics, there may be things that will put you in a vulnerable state as an organization where now your data is out elsewhere and can be misused. And then as a continent, it's influenced by the two pillars that I've indicated, as an individual and as an organization. When there are geopolitics, and we've seen in recent years where we've seen some of the countries not getting along because of the history and because of the things that they do, and geopolitically they're just not in a good state. And you don't want as a country to be at a state where your data is sitting in another country that you may not get along with in the future. I'll just make an example. This is a scenario, it's not something that's happening. I want our listeners, I need to put a disclaimer then. So
Right.
let's say, for an example, a lot of countries right now will not borrow money from the IMF, right? And
Right.
from and they won't borrow money from the IMF, and they're moving to the Russian currency or the Chinese currency, right? And when we look at our data from the likes of Microsoft, Salesforce, AWS, those are the big techs. I'm going to highlight them. It's an example,
Right.
and we are saving our data in the US right now, but we believe that currency wise we're not getting along and we're moving there. What do we think that country is going to do with our data now that we've exposed ourselves and saved our data in cloud technologies and moved it to these countries? It's an
Right.
example, but
Right.
you get where I'm going.
I
Yeah.
get you. That is it. That is it. Yes, it's sitting somewhere else, and then we are in
Yeah.
here, but we're
Yeah.
pushing everything out there. All
Yeah.
right. So, Jersey say, is it safer for a corporate company in Ghana or Africa to have its cloud in Ghana? Why is it not possible? It's possible. Or in Nigeria, Africa, or in Canada. He says he has his doubts about it.
So it is safe. It is safer. There are other things that causes data not to be safe. We know that we have hackers out there that can hack into data, but the level of safety is a little higher when your data is residing in your country, because you're not exposing it to a greater community, but you're
Right.
exposing it to your country. Not that it won't be hacked, but the exposure level is a bit less. So you will see that in South Africa, a lot of companies demanded that these big techs would have data centers in the country so that you
Okay.
don't have your data, because a lot of these big techs would have data residing in the island or residing in the US. And don't just move your data to the cloud, understand where exactly is it sitting and if it wouldn't affect you in the future due to geopolitics and any other similar scenarios.
Right. It's going to affect you in the future. You know where you're putting it, and you know where you are saving your
Yeah.
data. Thank you so much. Thank you so much. This is lovely. This is lovely. I'm loving the conversation already. And we are just on the emerging technology. So that's it. That's it. It's all embedded in it. We're taking all the bits and pieces about it, about everything. We're not just jumping over to what is coming up new and then without taking into consideration all of these ones.
Yeah.
I know some people are sometimes wondering, what is this cloud about? What is it that there are some servers in the cloud somewhere out there? But that some people feel it. I mean, the layman says cloud technology or cloud. Isn't that there are some servers in the clouds or in the skies out there?
I
What
can
is all
help
this
with
about?
that. I can help
Right.
explain what that means. So moving data to the cloud, it simply means you are taking the responsibility of storing data, where in the past organizations would have server
Okay.
rooms where data will be stored in the organization. All you're doing right now, you're taking that responsibility of storing to another organization that is a big tech organization. So, an example, when you move data to the
Right.
cloud, you need to pick a service provider for you to move that data. So, you would choose the likes of, I'll mention again the big ones like AWS or Microsoft. They would use like Microsoft Azure or AWS to save that data. So that's simply it. That you're just taking the responsibility of storing data to a third party to store that data.
Oh, okay. Okay. So you don't have it on prem.
If
You don't have it on your
Yeah,
premises now.
even there, a lot of organizations feel like if I've already stored my data into another organization and they have security principles in that organization, then there's nothing that I'm supposed to do on my side. That's not right. um, there is a new way that you need to position yourself from a security perspective, that is slightly different from when your data was inside the organization. You still need to be responsible for the security of your data. Yeah.
Right. You still need to. You still need to police it. Yeah, you still need to police it. You still need the awareness to be created among the users because we are not know what anybody is bringing outside of the organization that is going to cause somebody to have access to that data through our
Yeah.
own people in the organization. So yes, we still need to police our data even once it's outside. All right.
Hmm.
Now let's see if we can have any questions in here. Oh, I guess if there are no questions coming up, we're just going to be here and we're going to hear from our guest. What are some of her upcoming programs that she's doing? And where can we reach out to our guests in the house? So you can let us have some. I mean, where can we find you on the social media handles? Where can we find you? And
Yeah.
how can we follow you to get more of these tidbits that you shared with us?
Yeah. So, in all my social media platform, I go by my name, Rorisang Hlahatsi Boloyi, or Hlahatsi-Boloyi, on LinkedIn, Facebook, Instagram, everywhere. Over and above this, I also run a podcast with IT people across the world. So I do engage with other IT people across the world to better understand what's happening in the world with emerging technologies. I call it IT global direction, where IT is going. Um, and also, I'm a public speaker. I'm invited to various organizations to speak on various topics of IT, to share, to part my knowledge on what I know today about technology holistically, emerging or not. Um, yeah, and I'm currently based in Canada, so most engagements will be virtual. I do travel a bit as well, but I don't recommend it because I have a young one that I need to take care of.
Right,
Yeah.
so Rosanna has she has a latest technology that she's taking care of. So, so
and
so she must
and
do a
by
lot
the
of
way,
things.
everyone in this house is IT. Myself and my husband are both in IT. So
Oh, definitely. So that's an
yeah.
emerging technology out there. They've given us an image.
Yeah.
Oh, that's good. That's good. That's good. All right. So let me see what's any comments in the house again. Africa in general is still far in data protection compared with Europe, for instance. Is
Hmm.
it not easier then to abuse African population information? Is it not one of the reasons for the boom of telcos, for instance? I'm trying to rally my mind around it. Okay. Still far in data protection. Oh yes, I mean there are some organizations that really don't abide by the data protection guidelines, obviously. So there are
Yeah.
times you I agree with you. You say I agree with you because go for a public program, there's a huge list requesting for too much data. And you ask yourself, where are they keeping this data that they are collecting from
Yeah.
participants?
Hmm.
It's true. It's so true because people can easily go in there, pick this. Some of the organizations, some of these programs we do attend. Once we finish filling in all these forms, it's just left open decks, and anyone can have access to it, and that is you. So I agree
Yeah.
with you. I agree with you. I mean, I
No,
think
I
data
totally.
protection agency.
Yeah, I totally agree with that point that on data privacy, there's a lot of work that we still need to do. And the gap can be even bigger if we
Mm,
don't
mm,
try and understand what's happening today. And not just understand, I feel like Africans needs to be part of this evolution of technology and not be
most
the
definitely.
receiver of these products that are currently emerging. So yes, I do agree. Data privacy is a big thing right now. I mean, our phones are always on, even when they're off. uh,
I like that. You say what? Our phones are always on when they are even off.
So data privacy is a big thing. And in another conference with some leaders in the IT world, they mentioned that maybe future wars are going to be about data. And we have seen how data can be misused or used maliciously. We've seen some scenarios in the US in 2016 on how data was used for the 2016 elections. So we've seen how Cambridge Analytica use data in various of our African countries just by using data to change the way we think. So I think as Africans, we shouldn't be just be receivers of the data. I think we also need to be participants of what's happening in this evolving world.
Right, thank you so much. This is so much. So we want to take your final words. What are your final words for us and everything that you want to cap it off for us? What are your final words for us? And you can still keep your questions coming. You can still keep your comments
Yeah.
coming before she moves out of the studio. So let's hear your final words whilst we wait for
So
yours as well.
okay. So my final words would be as Africans, we need to take care of the things that enable us to be in touch with emerging technologies. So things like electricity, things that we don't always look at, but they can hinder the progress or the speed we can develop our own emerging technologies. And the second point would be, as Africans, we shouldn't look at emerging technologies as something that needs to be built out there and we need to be consumers of it. And I think we also need to start making huge strides in either marketing what we have built already or build emerging technologies. And I think from an emerging perspective, from individual perspective, we need to be very careful how we put our data out there. We need to not share everything because we could be in vulnerable state, in vulnerable places if we overshare our data. That's it.
Thank you so. That's it. If you overshare your data, oh my God, you are definitely good. Right, Johnson says your final words are too early. You say, what do you want to do? You want to hear more from her? He says the final words are so early. No, means he wants to go more. He wants to go more. Just say, give me some question for her. Give me some question for her before she leaves. She's having an emerging technology in home. There's both right and left hand, so they have an emerging technology in the house. So why do
Yeah.
you think that she's going so early? I like it. I like it. I like it. All right. So just let's bring about our hashtag for today. You know what we do? Every episode we come up with a hashtag for the episode. So what is your hashtag for the episode today? What were you able to glean from what that was shared with us? Let me know your hashtag for today. Let's compare our notes and see if we have the same hashtag or you brought in a different hashtag. Let me have your hashtag for today. Right after the last break, we come to drop our hashtag for today. Don't go anywhere. Stick around.
Need a spark to kickstart your innovation? Looking for thought and talks to get things moving? Wondering how to navigate a future full of change and uncertainty? With the eye-opening stories of digital disruption, extreme customer centricity, Organizational Innovation and Global Shift, our collective of speakers, MCs, and moderators will shift your perspective. Meet our speakers. For booking and interviews, contact us on 0246 054092 or send us a mail info.accessnet@gmail.com. You can also follow us on all social media channels at AccessNet Global, African Seasoned Speakers Network, influencing the next generation of Africans.
Influencing the next generation of Africans. That's what we seek to do, and that's what we do. Thank you so much for joining us on the Power Impact Series show. Today has been a wonderful time. It's been a lovely time because we have spoken about emerging technologies. And yes. Thank you so much. Yes, Shalitha Sanders says, great show. Thank you so much, Lady Shalitha. Kubi says, wonderful show. Dr. Seth says, powerful show. Thank you so much. And then Jose says, many thanks. Thank you so much for being here. Okay, I have one in here. Dr. Shalitha. Oh, Lady Shalitha says what? Know the benefits of iCloud. Okay, that's what she's been able to put here. Let's see what we have here for today. Let's draw the hashtag for today. Okay, our hashtag for today is, all right, emerging technologies are here. Emerging technologies are here. We're not going to bring them. They are here. We are with them. We are using them. It's time for us to develop our own, to use our own, not to depend on others to use our own. So thank you so much for joining us. It has been a pleasure. It has been a wonderful time having you here, moving in there. I mean, now next time you're going to let us know about how you broke through into the IT senior executive roles and how you combining it with family, with other things, and with your podcast. When do you release your podcast, or how can one watch your podcast or listen to your podcast?
Okay. Yeah, so my podcasts were released weekly, but we've had a backlog this month. There's quite a lot happening at once. I'm here, and after this, I have another speaking event. And earlier today, I went to speak to the University of Calgary with what's happening in the IT world. So we have them released every week. You can go to itglobaldirection.com to see previous conversations, just getting information from other IT people and getting an understanding on what's happening in other parts of the world, Norway, London, etc., and bringing that knowledge and seeing how we can do better in Africa, and also learn from what other people are doing out there. So it's itglobaldirection.com. It's IT Global Direction on LinkedIn, Instagram, Facebook.
Right. IT Direction Global everywhere. Get in there and just listen to the other speakers and other things that have been shared there for our growth in this timing or in this season. Thank you so much for joining us. We want to appreciate everyone that joined us online. Those that will be watching later on, I want to say thank you for watching. Thank you for making time to spend and watch with us. And thank you all the way from for having us and then sharing this wonderful nuggets with us. So we'll meet same time next week. As I always say, dreams are in levels. Make sure you get to the top level of your dreams. And remember the hashtag for today. Emerging technologies are here. And you see you same time next week. Same place, same technology. Have a wonderful week.